Hello, 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 and welcome to Lessons Learned by Lisa. And today, I have a treat for you for sure, for sure. I have a sister girl from back in the day who has done some incredible things in the land. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Reverend Dr. Janae Mackey.
Hello, Lisa. It is great to be here today. I'm excited about an opportunity to be able to dialogue and share with you. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you. And I just got to put it out there and be real. She's doing this for me for a second time because your girl lost the file. And I am just thankful that God let her show some grace and mercy towards me and gave me an opportunity for us to come back together and chat it up one more time. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? What have you done since we graduated in the 80s?
Well, I've done just a few things. I thank God for just the opportunity to have met you in the 80s and to have met in high school at Groton High School in Alexandria. And from there, God allowed me to matriculate through James Madison University and major in nursing. So I received a bachelor's there. And from there, a few years later, I went on to George Mason and got my master's and doctorate in nursing through George Mason. And after I received that, I came home actually and to take care of my kids. And so I did that up until 2008. Then let me say something. Before that, I was working at Nova Fairfax Hospital as kind of a nurse and an educator. And what I used to do was to train doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals about care for people that are living with HIV. And so I had an opportunity.
It had just started to hit the marketplace. Yes. It wasn't something that was familiar like it is now.
That's correct. And so I did that. I trained at conferences locally, nationally, I organized conferences, and I did that for about 15 years. So in 2005, I came home to take care of my kids, as I stated, and I established a business called M.O.V.E Empowerment Services. I continued to do that for about 3 years, and then I took ill for about 10. And so I was kind of in the house and not really able to continue the business. And so it went dormant. But during that time, I was writing, and God would just wake me up and I would begin to write whatever he poured into my spirit. And so through that time and through those writings, I became an author. So I authored a book in 2006, of which is not on the market now. That tells you a little bit of something, doesn't it? So in 2000 and during that time that I was ill, God told me in 2020 that it was time now. And so I reestablished M.O.V.E Empowerment Services, and I began to author some of those books that God had placed in my spirit. And the two that are on the market now through Amazon, one is called Inspired, 52 Poems and Meditations That Move Your Soul. So he had given me ability to write poetry that I forgot I even had. It was dormant within me from childhood, and he showed it back.
You don't happen to have that book close by and you can share one of those poems with us, do you?
I actually don't. We're going to have to come back and do that at another time.
Okay.
And then the second book is called Sister Girl, A through Z. And it is a devotional and empowerment book for teens, young adults, and also for us as adults to remind us as women who we are. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate and latched on to the title Sister Girl. And out of that is evolving summits, and it's evolving Sister Girl luncheons and trips and various things along those nations. Yeah, everything's becoming Sister Girl, right?
Amen. And so what does it take to become a sister girl? Let me know.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that lunch, Sister Girl lunch one day. And so that's kind of where I am right now. I'm thanking and praising God that they're available on Amazon, and I'm a self-published author, and I'm continuing to move from there.
Amen. So for those of you who mentor young ladies in this age bracket, and we are dealing with a lot of children nowadays that are having self-esteem issues, who don't understand they're having identity crisis, these are great affirmations that they can repeat to themselves, that they can bury down inside their souls and their hearts, so that when people come along and try to call you something that you're not, you will know exactly who you are. So I urge you to go get your copy. Like she said, she's on Amazon. And if you don't know, check her out on M.O.V.E with Dr. Nay. Okay.
Yes,
so
yes.
Now that we discovered all of that, and she went back home, because you did a lot. You said you didn't do a lot, but I was like, wait a minute, man. You went to college, then you got your master's, then you taught about a disease that was brand new to the market. And you not only taught, I guess, other nurses, you trained various departments on how to deal with people that have the disease. Because I can only imagine, because I'm just going to speak for me. I know for me, I had went to the hospital probably 6 weeks before I contracted COVID. And the people were so nice to me, because I went there for some issues with some pain and stuff. And they, gave me what I needed to help fix me up and send me back on home. Right. But I know when I could not breathe, yes, and I had to go to the hospital, and I had to tell them folks that I had COVID, them nurses didn't treat me the same way as I went in there when I had some pain. So that's there is a difference, which I understand, because I know that they don't want to infect their families, and they're at their limit. But as a patient, yes, I felt unvaluable. I felt like I had the plague, and I was going there for help, and it made me feel helpless. And the sad part is that I didn't have anyone that could advocate for me, because during COVID, no one can go inside the hospital but you. So when you're already at the call of somebody else, and there's no one there to help fight, you kind of just be quiet, because you're like, look, I can't breathe as it is. So let me let them do what they do so I can get up out of here. So I appreciate that you were training people on how to deal with people that don't have something that you don't necessarily are well aware of. So that was great. So you had great home training, and then now take home and take care of your children, girl. They got the best. They sent you out in the world, and they came home. So they was a breeze for you, because after doing all of that, girl, because first of all, studying to get your master's, that would make me not have no hair.
Well, you see my grades, right?
So that's what I'm just saying. When you said I ain't done that much, I said, wait a minute, she ain't checked her own resume. I remind my sister about what she has accomplished.
Oh, so, bless your heart. Bless your heart.
And you took some time off to take care of your kids, and you're doing the right thing, and then all of a sudden you get sick.
Yes.
And how did that make you feel? Because you're doing all the right things. So, because as women, I want us to get to a point where we can be vulnerable, so that we know that we're not all alone in this journey called life. And that's that, correct. Yes, we wear all these different hats. We're mothers, we're wives, we're girlfriends, we're aunts, we're sisters, we're cousins, we're bosses. I want them to know that everybody has a moment where they don't feel 100%.
That's right.
You're not in it by yourself. So you went through the sickness for 10 years. Yeah. And look, she's still smiling. That's God. That's God's grace and mercy. Because I already explained, I went through COVID for 6 weeks, and the sister thought she was going to lose her mind.
Yes. So during that period of time, they actually couldn't tell me what was going on. So, but me being a nurse, I knew my body was not right. It wasn't feeling.
Something was wrong.
I knew something was wrong.
And that's even worse. Yeah. Because I remember when I went through my sickness earlier in my young adulthood, and they couldn't figure everything out. And I was going to the doctor because the pain would get so bad and I would pass out. And it's nothing worse to sit inside someone who specializes in medicine for them to tell you nothing. Because at least if I knew what that something was, I could have a plan. But when you don't know nothing, that is more frustrating. So I can only imagine how 10 years of frustration.
And that's correct. And during that time, I actually felt so bad that I wrote my obituary. I wrote my program. Wow. I wrote my funeral how I wanted it to be, but God saw differently, and God restored me back to health. And so
Amen.
I'm grateful to God. As of 2018, God turned it all around, and I am exactly what is behind me. I'm on the move now. I'm on the move now, doing some things, not trying to catch up for lost time, but God has me on some assignments, and I'm looking forward to what He has in store for me in the future. And I'm just
So
trying to
tell
be
us a little bit,
obedient.
because I do know that you have an exciting event coming up on March 26th. Can't forget the day. Shout out, because that's my mama's birthday.
Yes, yes.
So I know that you have an event that you're having on March 26th that I believe is going to set the radar for you for 2022. So why don't you share a little bit about what you have coming up next month?
Okay, I'm excited about it because I have been at work today. And so I actually began the journey of writing a book on prayer. And how that came to be was my mom was a prayer warrior. My mom ended up in her 70s. She preached her initial sermon because she had it in her all her life. But as a female, we were not necessarily allowed in the pulpit. And so it took until she was in her 70s to actually be able to be recognized as a minister in the church.
Though, to not give up. She
Yes.
heard a word from God and she did not give up.
That's right. And she was a prayer warrior. And during her time, she would be writing on pieces of paper about prayer and about grief. And she was writing her story. And so when she passed in October of 2017, my sister and I began to gather those papers and those notes, and we saw that she had those writings on prayer. And so we decided that we wanted to finish her story. We wanted to write it for her. We wanted to make it come to fruition and be reality today. And so we're writing the book. It's in the form of being edited right now. And on March 26th, that's when we're going to do the launch. And the book is entitled Pray Without Ceasing, Prayer Works.
Yes, it does. Yes,
Pray without
I'm a
ceasing.
living witness.
Yes, because prayer works. And so, I also think that's possibly why I had to go through what I had to go through, because it allowed me to become closer to God and have a deeper relationship with Him. So when He brought me out, that it gives us a fire and a thrive and just
a thirst for righteousness.
Yes, a thirst for righteousness, and to be in His will and in His way, and completing the assignments that He has for our lives. And so on March 26th in Old Town Alexandria at the Alexandria History Museum, the Lyceum, 201 South Washington Street, we're actually going to have 8 authors, including my sister Lisa. She's going to be there with her book. And we are going to talk about our books and why we wrote the books that we did write. That's when I'm going to launch Mom's Prayer Book. And I'm grateful to God that it will be available on Amazon as well.
So will you be able to get an autographed copy on the 26th, girl?
Yes, I'm going to be there to autograph those copies. I'll have some people helping me at the table, so you can actually get copies of copies of Inspired and Sister Girl, as well as the prayer book. Yes.
Amen. So look, that sounds like an exciting event. Nothing like honoring your mother. I know we want to give our mothers their flowers when they're on the earth, but when they're not here, doesn't mean that you don't get to honor them anymore. And this is what my sister's doing. Her and her siblings are getting together on one accord. So you can just imagine what her mom is looking down at heaven and be like, I told y'all prayer works.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it with the angels?
Exactly. Yes. Well, that is absolutely wonderful. So for those of you, we're going to put a little thing on Facebook that you can register, because you have to register in advance due to COVID. There's limited seating, but it's a great event that you would love to come out and mix with some other people. She has an artist that's going to be out there, a local artist, Carlos, that has some great things that he has to exhibit, that, let's learn how to encourage and help one another, because this is really an awesome, awesome thing that her and her siblings are doing. So after that, I'm just gonna dig a little deeper. We got the 26th, but I know a woman like you is a planner, so I know the 26th is not where it ends. What else you got going on, girl, in your life?
Well, what I have going on now, since you mentioned it, on June the 4th in Woodbridge, Virginia, I am going to be hosting a Sister Girl Summit and a tea. Okay. So it's going to be an all-day event. We're going to have tea in the morning. We're going to have some speakers, and we're going to have two ladies grace us with their musical abilities. It's going to be an all-day thing. But then I'm also blocking some time at the spa. Amen. So if people want to finish the conference and go cross the street and go to the spa, they have to schedule their appointments in advance, but that's going to be available. And then I'm going to end the day with dinner. So if people want to join us, they have to pay for their own dinner though. But if they want to join us at the restaurant that we're going to go to, we're going to end it by just fellowshipping and having a good time with families. And so that's going to be on June 4th. It's going to be here in Woodbridge, Virginia, and it's going to be a Sister Girl Summit. So all you ladies, calling other ladies, you can come.
It's ladies' day instead of night.
We're going to have a good time. Yes.
Okay. So before we wrap up this session, do you want to send out your social media platforms where people can look up to find out about all the great things that you're doing, so that they can get in touch with you? They can get their name on the list for the spa day. Because see, like me, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it all the way. So I want the spa, and then I want to go to dinner, and I might need a hotel, so I ain't got to come home.
Yes, you can stay at the hotel. It's going to be held at a hotel. It's the Hilton Garden Inn and Suites. That's right here in Woodbridge, in the heart of Woodbridge, near Stonebridge and near Potomac Mills Mall. So if you want to shop instead of going to the spa, you can do it all on that day. And so, yes, if you want to find out more information about me, I am personally available on Facebook under my name, Janae, Juna Mackey, Mackey. But if you want to learn more about M.O.V.E Empowerment Services and the events that are taking place, you need to go to Move with Dr. Nay. Move with Dr. Nay on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. My website is also movewithdrnay.com. So feel free to kind of look me up. I look forward to being able to interact with you, and I'm enjoying my sister Lisa and the things that God has in store for her in her life as well.
Well, I thank you. I thank you, my sister. Thank you for taking the time to come out and tell us a little bit about what you're going on, because I'm still stuck back there when you said, I ain't really doing that much. And I was like, when you call that not doing much, I hate to see when you get on 100. That's all I got to say. But I want to say thank you. Thank you for spending a little time with Lessons Learned by Lisa. And as you continue to do these events and things come about, and when as you continue to launch Sister Girl, let's get together and have a sister girl conversation. And especially after your summit, after everybody had a chance to eat, some spiritual food, eat some natural food, and get themselves all dolled up. That's a great time for us all to come back and share about the experiences of being together collectively as women, because I think that that's a part that's missing, especially in the African American community. Like, people don't see that, hey, we love our sisters. Yes. We love encouraging, and we want our sisters to make it. The more of us that make it, I ain't got to pick up the tab at dinner no more.
And
thank you for joining us on Lessons Learned by Lisa, and know that we love you real hard. Have a great one.